Welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am the host and creator, Theresa Caesar. My intention for this podcast is to deliver to you wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness through solo episodes and conversations amongst insightful people. It is my greatest honor to bring to you talks that come from the heart. Welcome back, beautiful friends. I am so excited you're here because today we're talking about your greatest source of power, and that is your energy. Let me start with this. Have you ever had a moment where everything in your life looks good on paper? You're doing the workouts, you're hitting your goals, your relationships are solid, you have an amazing family, beautiful home, and your dream car. Money is flowing in. But something still feels off. Like there's a quiet emptiness you can't explain. That right there is a spiritual misalignment or depletion. Or in the words of one of my most favorite authors ever, Sarah Van Bronick, spiritually starved. Many modern women and men are overstimulated, yet spiritually starved, surrounded by information, activity, and demands, but deprived of real soul nourishment, reflection, authenticity. The starvation isn't about religion. It's deeper. It's about ignoring those deep desires and longings, dreams, from simple to big ones, making choices that are out of integrity or not aligned with your values, not tapping into passions and inner life of the soul until we feel depleted, anxious, or numb. And spiritual energy is one of the 4 core types of energies we all have and that I'll be talking about in the episode, and one of the most overlooked. Spiritual energy is your connection to something greater than yourself. It's your sense of purpose, your why, your connection to meaning, your values, to trust, to intuition and authenticity. And when that connection is weak or even completely ignored, you can feel empty, disconnected, or unfulfilled, no matter how good your external life looks. Because you're not just here to perform. You're here to feel connected, especially to yourself. Now let's talk about energy, and we're going to talk about it from a scientific perspective. Energy is everything. Your body is made up of atoms that are constantly moving and vibrating. Your brain and your heart both actually produce measurable electrical and electromagnetic activity. You're not just physical, you are energetic. You experience energy through 4 main areas: your mental energy, your emotional energy, your physical energy, and your spiritual energy. And when these 4 are in harmony and poured into, that's when you literally feel so aligned, clear, magnetic. Your health is optimal. You get these insane ideas and downloads and feel like you can conquer the world. When one is off, it actually creates a ripple effect through the others. So in this episode, we're going to be breaking this down. We're going to be talking about how to recognize when your energy is drained, what secretly is leaking your energy, and how to restore and strengthen each of these 4 areas. Let's start with your mental energy. So your mental energy is your focus, your clarity, your ability to think, decide, make a decision, and process. And here's something super important that I want to mention. We live in a world that praises multitasking. But science actually shows that multitasking reduces productivity and increases mental fatigue. When you switch between tasks, your brain has to constantly reset. This is called task switching cost, and it literally drains your cognitive energy faster than when you would choose to do one thing at a time and finish it, then move on to the next. So if you feel mentally exhausted, scattered, or overwhelmed, it may not be that you're doing too much. It's that your energy is fragmented. And this has happened to me so many times. I keep getting interrupted or distracted. Or if I try to multitask, I always remind myself, nope, finish one thing, then do the other. So your focus is absolutely your power. Even things like clutter on your desk, your inbox, and in your environment can drain your mental energy because your brain is actually constantly processing unfinished signals. So let's talk about some ways to support your mental energy. Like I mentioned, focus on one task at a time. Clear your space. Give your mind moments of stillness as often as you can, especially first thing in the morning before you start your day and in between tasks. Before you transition, take some deep breaths, process, close out the energy of one project or whatever it is before you enter another. Now, some affirmations for your mental energy. My focus is my power. My mind supports me. I move through my day with intention and clarity. Next is emotional energy. This is the energy of your feelings. Your emotional energy is deeply tied to your intention as well because how you feel influences the energy behind everything you do. Before every text, every conversation, every decision, there's an emotional tone. So if you're emotionally depleted, you might feel very reactive, overwhelmed, or even disconnected. A lot of people suppress emotions instead of processing them, and that creates internal buildup. Here's something, though, that I want to really tap into and get deeper. So, yes, we have resources, right? Like time, money, skills, talent, but energy is one of the biggest resources. And it's really behind everything you do. There's an energy behind the email you send, an energy behind the text message, an energy behind the choices you make and why you make them. And people feel your energy. They can feel when you're coming from a needy place, when you're showing off, looking for approval, when you're even trying to prove something, when you're seeking validation, or when you're looking for revenge, when you feel sorry for yourself. That energy actually repels. But if you want an energy that casts spells and magnetic, you're going to want to really tap into those higher frequency emotions, elevated emotions, and move from that, right? Which is gratitude, confidence, peace, joy. So think about it. Walking into a space with pick me energy or sending a text message or email out of revenge or to prove a point, the need to be right in an argument, even when it's costing you your peace, and it's not only draining for you, but for everyone around. It is a universal language. No matter what language you speak, you can feel when someone comes in, when they're lighthearted, they're not needy or transactional, they're just like happy and they're present versus if someone is, showing up with this intention of pick me energy or literally just all about themselves, right? And the most awesome news is you get to master your energy. It's actually one of my favorite affirmations. Next to my energy is my greatest source of power, is I'm the master of my energy and emotions. You can literally decide today, I want to bring in joy. I want to embody vibrant, luxurious energy. I want to feel abundant, confident, like the CEO of my life. You use the feeling and then you bring the emotion with intention. And then you add external elements to match that vibe. So it's like you're a whole package of energy moving through your outfit, the perfume, even the environment, right? Like if you dress up and make reservations at a fancy restaurant, like the whole energy is just flowing that's matching in alignment. And that's why I love working in beautiful elevated spaces because the environment feeds the energy and the intention I want. And then in that, when I create content or I'm having a meeting in those luxurious spaces and with my energy, I actually create incredible content. It's the vibe you walk into a room with. It's what lingers after you leave. And it can't be faked, but it can be cultivated. And that's where I use affirmations, and using your affirmations and those words can program it so that your mind and body can then respond. And it's just insanely powerful. So before you walk out into the world, before you send a message or an email, before you make that decision, you always ask yourself, this is like my number one tip. What energy am I bringing right now? Is it backed by stress? Is it backed by distraction? Is it emotional overwhelm, disconnection, neediness, desperation? Or is it backed by curiosity, clarity, intention, even courage, gratitude, love, excitement, and alignment? This is about coming off autopilot. And it's literally my biggest intention. That's consciousness, making conscious choices in how we are showing up in this world. It's really interrupting the program and being intentional of how you think, choosing to adjust how you feel. Not about bypassing and toxic positivity. Feel the feelings to heal the feelings. But in any moment, you can shift. You can shift from fear to courage, right? And remember, you're not a passive participant in this life. You're the director of your energy, and your energy shapes your reality. So let's talk about some ways to support emotional energy. Allow yourself to feel without judgment. Create space to process instead of react. Be intentional about who and what you give your energy to. And here are some affirmations. I honor my emotions. I process my feelings with compassion. I am emotionally balanced and supported. I am the master of my energy and emotions. Now let's talk physical energy. This is your body, your stamina, your nervous system. Your nervous system is essentially your body's command center. It controls how you respond to stress, how you feel safe, how you regulate your energy. So when your nervous system is dysregulated, meaning stuck in stress or survival mode, you can feel constantly tired, anxious, or on edge. And over time, if your physical and emotional energy are constantly depleted, your nervous system adapts to that as your new normal. And that's why so many people are functioning in burnout without even realizing it. It just has become normalized. So some ways to support physical energy is prioritize rest and sleep. This for me is like number one. When I don't get sleep, it doesn't matter how many affirmations I use, how much I journal, how much I meditate. Like I literally cannot even produce. I don't even have mental focus. It takes like hours to create something. But versus if I get optimal sleep, I can literally create in a few hours what would take me weeks when I have compounded lack of sleep. So anyways, move your body regularly. Give your body signals of safety, slow down, breath, and pause. Like you've got to have your body's back. Like it's the one thing that's always going to show up for you. But if you don't show up for it, one day it's going to break down on you, right? And especially with those basic needs like sleep, good food, and water. Affirmations for your body. My body is safe, strong, and supported. I honor my need for rest. I move through life with grounded energy. And finally, spiritual energy. We're going to come back to this. We opened with this, but we're circling back. Spiritual energy, again, is your connection to meaning, purpose, and something beyond your daily responsibilities. Beyond the 3D world, right? Like beyond what your identity is as a mother, sister, wife, or your job title, right? If you don't tend to this part of yourself, you can become spiritually starved. You might look fulfilled on the outside, but you will feel empty on the inside. And this is why. Because success without connection to yourself or to others that's authentic feels hollow. Some ways to support your spiritual energy is spend time in stillness or reflection, practice gratitude, and reconnect with your why on everything in your life. What's your why for showing up? What's your why for choosing it? And so now affirmations for your spirit. I am connected to my purpose. I'm connected to myself. I trust the path that I'm on, and I always trust my intuition. I'm always being guided and supported. If you just functioned on your mental, physical, and emotional energies, will limit you. But when you tap in to your spiritual energy and you're out into nature, you're connected to your passions, to your soul's desires, what you really want to do, your authenticity, your soul signature, your ideas flow more easily, your creativity expands. You show up more powerfully in your work, in your home, in your relationships, and you literally start to feel more like yourself because you're in harmony. The minute one area gets more depleted, it does cause a ripple effect. It's a domino effect into the others. And that is why I personally treat my energy like a daily practice. Just like I know my name, I'm Theresa Caesar, I know my energy is my greatest source of power. So every day I ask myself, how will I support my mental energy, my emotional energy, my physical energy, my spiritual energy? Even giving yourself 5 minutes of intention in each area changes everything. And Joe Dispenza says, when you change your energy, you change your life. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Your energy is not something that just happens to you. It is something you actually have the ability and permission to cultivate, decide, change, but you also have to be the one to protect it. You also have to be the one to consciously direct it. Otherwise, you're going to be on autopilot. And remember, you are the creator of your own energy signature, which is the vibe people feel when you walk into a room, the tone behind your words, your creations, your choices, the intention behind your actions. And when you start showing up with that level of awareness, when you stop reacting and start responding, when you stop performing and start connecting, when you align your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual energy, everything shifts. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your choices become intentional and your life becomes aligned because energy doesn't lie. You can't fake it to yourself, and people will feel what you're carrying. So carry joy, clarity, excitement. Walk around as the passionate version of yourself and watch how the world responds differently. And know this, you are powerful, energetic, and you are the creator of your own vibe. Now go out there and own it because your energy is your greatest source of power. If this episode activated you in any way, share it with someone you love. If you want to go deeper with me and join my Affirmation Babe besties, I invite you to my Affirmation Academy. It's a sacred space for deeper affirmation practice, self-mastery, spiritual rituals, live sessions, and community to nourish your mind, body, and soul so that you can feel empowered and aligned. So whether you're craving quiet, flexible expansion at your own pace or deep real-time community, you'll have everything you need to deepen your affirmation practice, manifestation, and spirituality on terms that honor your life and your energy. So visit the show notes for the link and tap it for more information. Would love to see you inside. Otherwise, friends, wishing you the most amazing rest of your day, week, and month ahead. Love you lots. Mwah! Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please download, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, be sure to visit my website at theresacaesar.com to check out my inspirational merch, connect to my social accounts, and much more. May you continue to be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness. Otherwise, friends, I will be back for another episode of Heart to Talk.